Manure.
Great. That's him. Here.
Well, we forgot to bring the camera out yesterday, but with a lot of literal blood, sweat, and tears.
Did you cry?
I cried. I'm sure you cried for both of us.
I didn't even
Some
cry.
coolant and some elbow grease. We have removed all the heaters from our bus. We've got the under the driver's seat one, which we're still taking out. That little guy right there. And we got some big holes we've got to cover up, like right there. And we managed to keep our defrost heat, hopefully. Haven't tested it yet, but if all my math lines up. If you're gonna convert a bus, here's something, a cheap something that I would highly recommend you have. It's $10. It's a wife. No, I'm just kidding. It's this. Ooh, baby girl. I know. So this is a Mora, model number 511. Okay, this is a Mora 511, and they're made in Sweden, and they're just a super, super good knife. We did just snap the very tip of it off, which is fine, because they're like $10. So, yeah, this is going to be living on the bus for a while. All right, so here's what we did. We started with this heater here, and we took some vice grips, and we clamped the hoses shut, and we cut the hoses. And you can see we had a little bit of spillage, but not a ton. I've seen a lot of people have a lot worse. But we cut the vice grips, or cut the hose where the vice grips were holding them, and we drained all of our coolant into these buckets. With what we spilled, we probably had a total of like 5 gallons. And we took all the hose out, and I know this is not super informative because we're not showing you how we did it, but just gonna tell you what works best for us. So, yeah, basically anytime before you cut a hose, it's just good to, anytime before you cut a hose, good to clamp it. And then we drained the heaters. Those were super easy. And then I climbed under the bus and ripped out, because there was a hose that went from here to here, and attached that third heater, removed all that, and then traced all the hoses up to the front, and we cut those on the top here of the wheel well, and that made it so they didn't spray coolant everywhere, if you were to cut it down there. Drained out the long hoses. You can see those are over there as well. And then we removed the front heater. And yeah, so after we cut it down flush here with this hole, we pushed them through. So let's see down here. You can see there is the hole where it comes out. Those are the hoses for the driver's seat heater. And then those hoses ran through here and there and into that little thing right, excuse me, there. Now there's two right there. This is the hose that runs to the top of the block. There's a valve up there. And this hose runs to the defrost heater. So these two hoses, I can get a little muddy. We pulled those all the way out, and one ran to the return of the defrost heater, which was coming down, and the other one ran to that valve right over there. It's really difficult to point at, I'm sorry. That valve right over there. So what we did, because we wanted to keep our defrost heater, was we kept this line here, which runs up to the top of the block, and we basically what it does is it runs from the top of the engine down to here. This runs to the defrost, and then the defrost runs back into the return at the bottom of the engine. And yeah, we just used that little piece of brass right there and a piece of pipe we had left over and clamped it all up, and it looks like it's going to work just fine. We'll keep you posted. If it doesn't work at all, you'll hear. If it works fine, then we probably won't follow up. Anyway, whew, at the end of that day, I was just absolutely covered in coolant. Because you're laying under all these hoses as you cut them, and it's just a pain. So yeah, the heaters are out. That was our next big step. We've got all the roof out. We've got the wall skins out. We've got to do this panel here. And we've got to take off all these impact screws because we're going to pull these panels off the back. And then after that, it's roof raise time, I think. I mean, we're there. Oh, a couple other things actually. These lights, I think are going to go. These ones. Been told you shouldn't keep them or it's illegal. One of the two. And we're probably going to take off our stop sign. And then I've just got a lot more wires to trace. You can see our harness here hanging down. Our right side turn signal doesn't work because a mouse chewed through the wire for that. That's probably what this is covering up. How did those beauty gurus do it? There we go. You can see the mice chewed through the wire, which is a problem. So anyway, the wires run back, and I've already pulled and cut all of the ones for the speakers and for the dome lights on the top. So then, oh, and that's all the wires right there for the heaters. So I get to pull those back through the electrical box, and we'll pull all these cut ones down this clump here into the electrical box. Probably unwrap all that mess, which will be fun. I don't know if we want to keep this or not. It's not entirely necessary, but it's nice to know if your lights are on or something, so iffy there. But yeah, so just a little bit more wiring, electrical troubleshooting, and then we'll be ready for the roof raise after that. We missed a piece of insulation. See that?
I do.
Okay, you want the camera? Okay, so clicks. This is that valve on the top that I was talking about. And that runs the coolant down. This line runs directly into the defroster, and then it just circles back down to the bottom of the radiator.